everyone. I am hoping we are loud, proud and very handsome. Well, we're certainly not handsome, but we can be loud and proud, certainly. Welcome to the brand new, or round... We're working. I just heard my dulcet tone in the background as Kim tuned in to make sure it was all working and sharing the links to everyone around. So we're here for round 4 of the Porsche 911 RSR series. Already we've got 5 people watching. Fantastic news. Yes, here for round number 4 of the Porsche 911 RSR series here at the wonderful Brands Hatch circuit. Again, this is the 3rd night in 4 that I've either partaken or commentated on a race here at this wonderful circuit here in Kent. A little bit later in the evening compared to what we have been racing at. The sun setting there beautifully as we have a look from Pilgrim's Drop at the rear end of the circuit. Like I say, this is the RSR 911 series, round number 4. So far the series has had 3 major outstanding drivers, and the three different winners as well from the series. So we had Lee Dennington winning round number 1. We had Mark Littlejohn winning round number 2. I think I'm trying to remember where the races were. I know round 2 was at Sante Crow. Round 3, which Gareth Morris, who we are currently looking at, won round 3 at Dragon Trail Gardens. But I can't for the life of me remember where round 1 was. I've done the live commentary, but I cannot think where it was. Kim is currently searching. Hang on, I've got it here. It was at the Nürburgring Grand Prix, of course it was, because we had the Schumacher S's. So 3 different winners from 3 different races so far. Obviously these 3 have been walking away and fighting amongst themselves over the top 3 positions in every race so far this season. And it's meant that the championship battle is very, very close. We've got Mark Littlejohn at the top of the standings. Let's see if we can find Mark. Is he even here yet? There's Mark, currently sat in the pits in his Jack Daniels Porsche. So it's Mark Littlejohn currently with the championship lead, currently sat on 60 points as well. So a nice little lead for him at the moment. Do we have our 2nd place guy here at the moment? It doesn't look... yes, we do. There he is, jumping into 1st place. Lee Dennington in 2nd, or I say 2nd place, joint 2nd place at the moment. Both he and Gareth Morris, who we were watching earlier, tied for 2nd place, just 6 points behind behind Mark Littlejohn on 6 points. No, on 54 points, 6 points behind Mark Littlejohn. We'll get it right in a minute, it's been a long day. 4th in the championship is BBA boss, or Rasmus Ombrun, in his lovely pink and blue BWT liveried Porsche. It's apparently the thumbnail tonight as well, which will be uploaded and attached to the stream after we've finished, because I'm still learning everything and I don't know how to set up a pre-planned live to put onto the PlayStation. So I do it live and then I'll upload the thumbnail later on. In 5th position, Rasmus Ombrun, by the way, is currently sat on 35 points in the championship. In 5th place in the championship, and we will find him here somewhere. There he is, Idle 4 Gaming, deciding to continue to run his Orange Army liveried Porsche for tonight. He's currently in 5th place in the league, 1 point behind Rasmus Ombrun. and he'll be pushing as hard as he can. I know he's got a slight wrist sprain, and yes, feel free to make the jokes in the comments if you so wish. As I say that, evening Darren on the comments, and a hello from Denmark for is that Lassie? I apologise already. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce your surname. I will only get it wrong, and I don't intend to offend anyone, so I won't won't even try. We'll go back to the championship standings, and we have Craig Thomas in 6th place. Is Craig here? He is here, and there he is running the cat livery just as the qualifier is about to start. Craig is 6th in the championship, currently on 28 points, with Andy White, who I have seen here, and I will try to grab Andy as soon as I can. Is Andy White there, back, still in his orange liveries as well, changing from the yellow as he did have in the first 2 rounds. He is sat in 7th place on 27 points. I believe I did hear a rumour as well, and I will have to flick through the drivers. But I did hear a rumour that we might have, I'm sure I saw his name just then as well. We do. Stu Shelton is back in his BP flower liveried vehicle. It is no longer Brian Wankani. So Stu Shelton will now take over the BP livery vehicle, and Brian had been scoring points for him as well up to this point. So the points that Brian Wankani had scored, which was 18 points, will go to Stu Shelton, and Brian is now actually come in as a separate entry for himself. Brian doesn't mind this at all. He knew at first that he was just purely standing in for Stu, so he's more than happy to start on 0 points and let Stu have the 18. Stu very kindly said that no, Brian should have them, but no, we saw it as a stand-in, and that was Brian's original idea. So Stu gets the points, Brian starts on 0, and we'll see if he can catch up with Stu in the championship. I'm sure that'll be his aim in the remaining races. Let's have a quick look at the comments as the drivers come round to start their first flying laps. And we've got Rusty in watching the race at the moment. Hello, Rusty. The 2nd place driver from Monday night's charity race for Robert Foote. Hello, Rusty. Nice to see you. Or I could say Chris at the same time. We've got Kim. Hello, hello. I could turn around and say hello, hello, because Kim is sat right behind me at the moment. Dale Griffiths. Dale Griffiths as well. Hello, good evening. Good luck to everyone. We hope it's going to be a good race. We'll probably see the top 3 eke their way out. They have done in the past, and then leave a battle for everyone behind. I will try my best. I do apologise already if I make any mistakes. I'll probably use people's PSN names as well at certain points, so apologies if I do, and we'll bundle our way through it as we go along. So we've got Lee Dennington coming across the line now and setting the first lap time of the evening, and will take the provisional pole position from Little John so far, 0.5 of a second back. William John Lane is next across the line, followed by Thomas, both setting times, and it's thick and fast as Lane comes off at Paddock Hill Bend into the gravel, and that will pretty much finish his qualifying. He might be lucky and get round and get another lap in. He's got about 10 seconds extra to spare, so he might just get another chance at a extra lap. So after the first set of cars have come across the line, we have provisional pole is currently Lee Dennington, who was first across the line, with Mark Littlejohn in 2nd place. 3rd place is currently Darren Baldwin, who managed to get himself a bit of space on track to set his lap time, with a little bit of a slipstream. Don't know if there was any hold up by Lane, but he'll get another chance for a extra lap anyway. Fourth was Stu Shelton across the line, so Stu doing a fantastic job on his return. I believe he's also on the pad tonight due to the shoulder obviously going to be playing up that little bit, so we'll see how Stu goes. Obviously the pad will increase the tyre wear that little bit, which will make things a bit harder for him. Fifth place is Adam Morgan, currently in the Snickers livery, and Morris in sixth. So that's not where he'll be hoping to start the race from, but who knows, we've still got 20 seconds, so he'll probably get another lap in as well. Only really seen Craig Thomas improve on the second lap. There we go, a few more improvements from other drivers as they set the second times, and we are now just 2-1. That is qualifying over, and it's going to be 3 cars, is it, I believe? 2 cars missing out on setting extra lap times, unfortunately, but it will be a very, very close-knit thing. Certainly looking at the lap times coming in so far, we've got Dennington currently in first, Littlejohn in second, Baldwin in third, Andy White up into fourth place, Shelton in fifth, Thomas in sixth, and currently ghosting, so he won't be improving his time, Morris in seventh, and Morgan 8th, Adam Dyke in 9th place, 10th is Rasmus Omren, 11th place in the Ali NASCAR style livery is Collins, 12th Moncani, 13th Osler, 14th Lane, and George in 15th. As they start coming across the line and complete their laps, we'll try and pick up Andy White, see if he can improve as he comes around the final corner now. Nice slipstream from Brian Moncani across the line, and no improvement. Can Morris do anything? He's improved to third, Morris, so that's brilliant news for him. So it'll be the top 3 in the first 3 positions, and almost in championship order as well. Dennington just pipping Littlejohn on the line, so it's Dennington on pole, Littlejohn second, Morris third, Baldwin fourth, White in fifth, Morgan in sixth, Shelton seventh, Omren in 8th, Thomas, Dyke, Moncani, Collins, Osler, I didn't quite catch him at the back there, Osler 13th, Lane, and George at the rear of the field. Let's see how things go as the lights go out now and away. Oh, Andy White, a lot of wheel spin there and sideways, but uphill, that slight uphill start as well for him. And he just about holds position. I believe it's Dennington who will take the lead through Paddock Hill Bend and up towards Druids for the first time, as the cars stream through Druids out towards Graham Hill Bend for the first time. And it's Dennington in the lead from Littlejohn, Morris in third, Morgan's got himself ahead of Baldwin up into 4th place, with Baldwin dropping down to 5th, Shelton still in 6th, Omren in 7th, 8th place is Andy White, and as I say that, Morgan's gone wide, and that's allowed Baldwin up to 4th, Shelton to 5th, White to 6th, Omren to 7th, 8th is Adam Dyke, Morgan dropping down to 10th place, 11th now as George makes his way past Morgan as well, so it's Lane now in 12th. I say that Morgan's just going backwards at the moment, so Morgan in 12th, 13th is Moncani, Collins now up into 14th, and Thomas, who's dropped right the way to the back of the field, in 15th place. Back to the front as Littlejohn tries to close up, and we see, just as we switched camera there, we caught the rear end of Dennington slipping and sliding around all over the place out of Stirling, and allowing Littlejohn that chance to catch up and get into the slipstream as they come across the line for the end of lap number 1, and it is very, very close still at the moment, just half a second in it between the 2 leaders. Morris there sat in 3rd place, as he usually is at this stage. For some reason, Gareth just seems to sit back that little bit, take it all in, spot where these the two guys in front, Little John and Dennington, might be that little bit weaker. He tends to save that little bit of extra fuel. He's already on the medium tyre, and this is something that we are going to have a look at as well. The medium tyre, the top three are already running the medium tyre. Baldwin is also running the medium tyre at the moment. They have to run both the medium and the hard tyre throughout the entire race. But the hard tyre must be used for a minimum of 5 laps. I don't know if we've got anyone currently. As I say that, there we are. We find that Andy White is already running the hard tyre. So to be in 6th place on that hard tyre around here is some fantastic news for him, and will give him that strategic advantage a little bit later on in the race when everyone else comes onto the hard. He'll have the quickest medium tyre, and it'll save him that little bit of time and hopefully bring him further up the field. Onran also on the hard tyre at the moment. Dyke also on the hard tyre. Anyone else running the harder tyre at the moment? Collins on the hard tyre, and Thomas on the medium. Moncani also on the medium. So we've got a few people running the hard tyre, and it like I say, it'll certainly make for interesting racing a little bit later on. We go back to the leaders, and Dennington has lost his half-second gap. It's now down to about 0.2 of a second as Little John starts to have a look, looks right, looks left as they come down Pilgrim's Drop towards Hawthorne. They go side by side now through Hawthorne. It's really one car, one lane through there, and Little John drops back as they go up to Westfield. But as these two battle it out yet again, Morris has decided now's the time to make my move. I'm going to come up towards the rear bumper of Little John, make this a 3-way battle for the lead, just 0.6 of a second separating the 3 drivers. Darren Baldwin in 4th place, just 2 seconds behind the leaders. Shelton in 5th, just a second and a half behind Baldwin at the moment, with the first of the hard tyre clad Porsches in Andy White a further 1.7 seconds behind. Close company behind Andy White is Rasmus Omren, also on the hard tyres, just a second further back, and he's got about 0.6 of a second lead over Adam Dyke in 8th place. 9th is Nuno George, running the VLR liveried Porsche again now. He's just a second back from Dyke, and he's got about half a second lead over Lane in his beautifully coloured Kodak liveried Porsche this time round. The battle for 11th is hotting up as we've got Morgan, who is closely followed by Thomas, and then Andrew Osler sitting just behind those, waiting for the tiers to come out in the wash. A little bit further back is Brian Moncani, doing a stellar job as always, and continuing to work the tyres wonderfully well. He's very, very light on his tyres, so we'll see how far Moncani can go as the battle for the lead continues to spice up. Dennington getting away that little bit now, opening it back up to about 0.4 of a second. Morris slipping back to about 1.2 seconds from Dennington, just deciding to just sit back that little bit more, save those tyres that bit possibly, but things will pan out eventually. We go back to the battle for 11th place, and we've still got Morgan in the lead, but he's now got Craig Thomas up his exhaust pipe, cross the line, and will Thomas decide to have a look into turn number 1? No, he thinks better of it, drops back, but Morgan's very, very deep into paddock. He runs wide out onto the AstroTurf strip, just missing the gravel, and that's allowed Thomas up the inside into Druids and up into 11th place. Osler now having a very, very good look at the exhaust pipes of Morgan, as Moncani gets a good look at the exhaust of Osler at the same time. But for now it is Thomas who has got himself up into 11th place, Morgan down into 12th, Osler in 13th, and Moncani in 14th. We go back to the lead because Little John has closed up again towards the rear bumper of Dennington. and it's almost 3 cars in a train again as they come through Sheen's curve. It used to be a chicane, used to be a really quick chicane. Didn't actually have to take it as a chicane, but you used to see the likes. Some of the British touring cars would launch themselves through the corner and over the chicane almost. So they decided at the track to remove the actual chicane, turn it into one corner, because that's what the cars were essentially taking it as. It wasn't actually slowing the cars down at all. So they made it one corner and turned it from the Sheen chicane just to Sheen's, named after the legendary motorcycle rider Barry Sheen as well, who out there on the internet somewhere is a fantastic picture of Sheen actually in the air through that corner. So just one to have a look at down the line, and a random fact for you people, and one that I oddly know about track. So we'll have a flick. I'd say we'll have a flick through. Little John is right in the slipstream now, coming down Pilgrim's Drop. We can't go away just yet because I can feel Little John sizing this one up and possibly having a look. Going to have a look out of Stirling and down Clearways at the end of this lap, because the three guys are nose to tail almost again. Little John right up behind Dennington already. Oh, I do apologise for the constant yawning. It was a 5 o'clock start this morning, so we're a little bit tired, but we'll keep going, and we'll try and be as enthusiastic as possible, as always. But Dennington just about holds the lead as they come down through Clark Curve and onto the start and finish straight bank curve, whatever you want to call it. They cross the line and they put lap number 6 into the book. Dennington still holding that lead as Little John gets very, very close to the rear bumper of Dennington through Paddock Hill, down Paddock Hill, round Paddock and down through Paddock Hill, round Druids, and it's still Dennington holding off Little John at the moment. Morris in close contention, just watching 1 second behind Little John, planning his race. Still close behind, just 2.6 seconds behind, is Darren Baldwin, just hoping, praying that something goes wrong ahead of him. There is someone in the pits, that's Collins in the pits, dropping the hard tyres already after 6 laps. So that's the mandatory laps done on the hard tyres. He'll be medium tyres all the way now to the end of the race, and hoping he can pick up a few places in the clean air and essentially an undercut move, if you like. Where were we? We were at 5th place, Stu Shelton, who's dropped to about 6.5 seconds behind Darren Baldwin now, but still doing a stellar job. Like I said earlier, I believe he's on the pad tonight after the surgery on his shoulder. I believe he was saying earlier that it might just be a little bit too much for him on the wheel, but if he is on the pad, this is a fantastic drive from him, and I'd love to see him back on the wheel as soon as possible, hopefully before the end of the season, and we might get a glimpse of the extra pace he might have there if he's not already on the wheel. And then we've got Andy White in 6th place, the first of the hard shod tyres. He's only 1.2 seconds behind Shelton as well, so it's a stellar job. 12.5 seconds back from the leader as well, so who knows, this could be playing into Andy and Omran's hands, because Omran was also running the harder tyre, and he's only 14 seconds behind, so this could be playing into their hands a little bit. We will see as time goes on. We're only 10 minutes in so far, but these two running up in 6th and 7th place, it's showing some very good pace, and they're actually at points catching the leader. So I do wonder if the medium tyres or the defence that Dennington's having to put on is just slowing the leaders down that little bit. Might be worth the 3 of them clubbing together, going, right, okay, let's put some distance in. Alright, yes, you can see on the track map there at the in the top right hand corner that they have got a bit of distance already over the majority of the pack. Baldwin's keeping them fairly close by, but it might be worth the 3 of them working together, increasing that distance, increasing the gap, and then giving themselves essentially a pit stop over the rest of the field, because at the minute, if they pit, they're going to be right in the middle of that gaggle of cars. And if we go back and look, we've got 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, all really close. And I've just noticed that Morgan's got himself ahead of Lane and Thomas again. Thomas has actually dropped back down to 12th, and Morgan's up to 10th. So just doing that, we've seen some changes. But there is a gaggle of cars there, all close together. We're looking at 5th to 14th, so what, 9-10 cars all together, and that's where they're going to be coming out at the moment, because we're looking at about, I believe it was about 26-ish seconds for a pit stop. And if we flick through the positions, 20 seconds back from Dennington, who is leading the race, is currently Lane and Thomas. And this is roughly where they're going to be coming out. It's going to be at the back of this train at the moment. Even after 12 and a half minutes, 13 minutes, that is where they're going to be looking at coming out after a pit stop. How are we looking on tyres for them? The mediums are wearing those outside left-hand tyres, are obviously going to take a lot of the punishment. Through Paddock Hill, through Druids, it's the outside tyre that's being pulled as hard as it can round the outside of the track, and then obviously as we go out to the back end of the circuit, through Hawthorns, Westfield, Dingledale, Sheens, that's the outside tyre again, and it's all just ripping the rubber away. And you can see it on the tyre wear here for both Dennington, Littlejohn, and well, Morris doing a little bit better of a job. But certainly Dennington and Littlejohn suffering with that outside tyre.
Look at you put the X-ray up on Instagram. Look at that.
I saw that earlier. So you might hear Kim saying, "Oh my God." She's just seen the picture. If anyone is friends with Stu Shelton on Instagram, he's actually put a picture of the operation that he's had in his shoulder, and he has a metal plate in his shoulder at the moment. So fair play to him for even racing. I think it's been 3-4 weeks since he's had that operation. So to be back racing already on the pad, I believe, is fantastic for Stu, and I tip my cap to you. To carry on and race, and to lead this pack of 9-10 cars, fantastic for Stu, and I hope you manage to keep the pace up and it doesn't start hurting too much. I think Kim's a little bit squeamed by it. We go back to the leading pack and we'll get the times back up for everyone, and it's still Dennington who's got that 2-3 tenths of a second lead over Littlejohn in second place. Third is Gareth Morris, just keeping a close enough eye on everything. Fourth is Darren Baldwin, still just 3 seconds back. Again, just far enough away, so if anything does go wrong, he's not going to get collected in a pile of Porsche. As Littlejohn's having a look round the outside here of Dingledale. Very, very brave, but fantastic driving from both drivers through Sheen. One track only, single file through there, and it's put Littlejohn back into the clutches of Gareth Morris, and it has definitely become a 3-car train now for the lead. And prime seat for it all is certainly Darren Baldwin in 4th place. 5th is still Stu Shelton, who has Andy White now up his exhaust pipe in 6th place. Remember, Andy and Rasmus Omren here in 7th place. They are both on the hard tyre. They should be slower, although by now it's about evened out the tyre wear. Andy White up the inside here of Stu Shelton, and we'll have a very good look into Paddock Hill and up the inside, up into 5th place. And Omron going to try and follow him through, not quite managing it, a little bit over the curb, and possibly not quite easy. He got away without picking up the penalty for a shortcut there, but not able to follow Andy White through. So Omron stays in 7th place for the time being behind Shelton, and Andy will now be looking to close the gap up onto Darren Baldwin in 4th place. Further down the field we've got Adam Morgan, who's recovering nicely, up into 8th place now, and Thomas up into 9th. 10th is Brian Moncani. In 11th place, Andrew Osler in the Rooster looking livery. 12th is Nuno George, who, if we get the... I would imagine has made some mistake there, because George was running a lot higher up than that, so some mistake that we've missed somewhere along the lines, I would imagine, for Nuno, unfortunately. 13th is Adam Dyke, who, given the position on track, as he's just ahead of Lane and Collins, who are battling out for 14th place, I would say that these guys have been into the pits. Lane is certainly on the hard tyre. Let's have a look. We've got Dyke on the medium but brand new set. Collins on the mediums, a worn set, but we did see him in after 6 laps, so he's done 6 laps on those medium tyres. And Lane on the hard, so yes, they have certainly been into the pits. Back to the front, and it's anyone's guess as they come down Pilgrim's Drop yet again. Little John going side by side, almost thinking better of it as they come up to Hawthorns. Single file through there as the 3 cars, nose to tail yet again, come through Westfields and onto Dingledown. And as I say that, Little John's made a mistake. He's collected the 3 of them. The 3 went wide, went 3 wide through Westfield and Dingledale. Dennington got onto the grass a little bit there. See if we can just pick it up again on the replay. We see here Dennington come through, getting onto the gravel, getting the back end that little bit loose and skitty, and the 3 of them just hitting side by side and then remaining in order. It's actually affected Morris more than anything by the looks of it, because Morris has dropped back that little bit by 1.2 seconds roughly off of Little John in 2nd place. I did notice as well we've lost Lane, unfortunately, from the race as our first pitter in the main pack, and this will be a good sign as to where the leaders will come out, as Darren Baldwin is in the pits. Obviously he was about 3 seconds behind the lead trio, so at the minute, if the leaders were to pit, they would be coming out around about 11th, 12th place, which is going to be very, very tight for them. So Darren's been in, medium tyres on again, and almost a full tank of fuel, not quite, but it's dropped in behind Rasmus Omron in 11th place. We go back to the leaders, because Dennington and Little John are again bumper to bumper. They come through Stirling's down towards Clearways. Another little fact for you, the straight is called Clearways. As you can see, the trees lining the side of the track there, and as they come under the bridge, the trees clear away and open up to Clark Curve, hence the name Clearways for the straight. Again, random fact, but one that's always stuck in my head about Brands Hatch. And the clock ticks down to just 40 minutes left. We've had a few pitters. We've had some people deciding to stay out and go for it as long as they can, and it is Dennington who is still leading by 0.3 of a second from Mark Littlejohn in 2nd place. Wonderful curb camera as the 2 leaders go flying over the top of our head, and Littlejohn just 0.3 of a second back. Just behind him is Gareth Morris, 1 second further back. He'll be looking to roll that in slowly, like he does. Just take his time, take the medicine, and watch for the mistakes. The two leaders again going side by side down through Pilgrim's Drop and up into Hawthorn and Westfield. They're still side by side as they go through Westfield and down towards Dingledale. This is where Dennington made the mistake earlier on a couple of laps ago, and Little John does seem to be a little bit quicker around this top section of the circuit, so we will see what happens in time. But certainly Little John does seem to have the advantage over Dennington on the Grand Prix section of the track. I'm just going to stick with him because Little John seems to have a run. He's on the outside though towards Paddock Hill. Is he going to have a switch back towards the inside? Is he late on the brakes? Not this time round. But he has got the inside line just about, but sideways through Paddock Hill, and that's going to have cost him the time to Dennington. But again, as these two battle, who's there just behind now? 0.8 of a second behind, it's Gareth Morris again there. In 4th place now, after Baldwin pitting, is Andy White on the hard tyres, with Craig Thomas in 5th. Andy White 20 seconds back, so he's almost at that pit stop point, behind the leaders. 5th place is Craig Thomas in the cat liveried Porsche. Andrew Osler in 6th place, with Nuno George in 7th, recovering well as well, so up into 7th place so far. Then we've got Rasmus Omren and Darren Baldwin, just separated by just 1 point, and the battle for 4th place in the championship for these two. So Omren just at the moment ahead of Baldwin in 9th place. 10th, Brian Moncani, now scoring for himself, and the traditional blue and green livery for Moncani Racing as well. Nice to see that out on track finally. 11th place is Adam Dyke, with Collins in 12th place, Morgan down in 13th, and Stu Shelton now at the rear of the field, but he has been into the pits. And I would say this is his first lap out of the pits as well. Fresh set of boots on board, almost a full tank of fuel, and it will be pedal to the metal and see if he can work his way back up ahead of Andy White in the latter stages. Back to the front of the race, and Dennington's in the pits. He has been in, serviced and out, and like I say, he has dropped down 4 seconds behind Andy White, so we're looking at about 24 seconds. That gives us a great indication. About 24 seconds will be the gap in time for the lead pitting, essentially, because he was about 20 seconds ahead of Andy, and he's dropped down it was about 4 seconds by the time they came out. Having said that, we've missed Little John in the pits as well. He's short fueled, that's why he's got a jump. So I thought for a second, only 6 seconds ahead. So Little John's been in, he's got the hard tyres on, but he's only got half a tank of fuel. We missed that completely. Morris has also been in, set hard tyres on, but about 3/8 of a tank, so he'll be doing his usual thing that we've seen in the past. The base 5 laps on the hard tyre, in full fuel, medium tyres, and see if he can go to the end. Andy White has just come into the pits, so Dennington, who went for another stint on the medium tyres, the reason he lost out was he put a full tank of fuel in. So he's gone for the medium tyres, the quicker tyres, and he'll be looking to close that gap up, and he already has by about half a second in 1 lap closed the gap up on the lead 2, as they then have to come into the pits, fill the tank full of fuel, but then they'll be on the medium tyres as Dennington finishes the race on the hard tyres. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say it will be 1 more pit stop for the 3 of them, even at this point in the race. 11 seconds back from Dennington now is Rasmus Onbrun, who in his lovely two-tone pink and blue Porsche is being chased hard by Darren Baldwin, just 7/10 of a second back, but he'll have the slipstream down Pilgrim's Drop and out towards Hawthorne. 6th place is Brian Moncani, who's got Craig Thomas in close contention, 1.2 seconds back, and he's got Alan Dyke even closer, just 3/10 of a second back, and looking to get the slipstream towards Hawthorne now. Thinks about a move, but then thinks better of it and decides to follow Craig round the top end of the circuit, maybe have another look down through Clark Curve later on. In 9th place we've got Brucey Collins, who has got Andy White now on the medium tyre, very, very close behind him through Sheen Curve and down towards Stirling's. Andy looking left, looking right, can't quite find a way past right now, but we'll have another go down through Clearways. He's on the outside line now for Clark Curve, and that's going to allow a move up the inside by Adam Morgan. So Biggie or Andy White just losing out possibly now down the start and finish straight. He's going to lose the inside line towards Paddock Hill, and it's going to cost him a place having that look on the outside through Clearways. though Andy White's stuck it round the outside. Fair play to Andy White, sticking it round the outside of Paddock Hill Bend, taking the place back from Morgan and refocusing on the rear bumper of Marshall. As I said, 11th place is Morgan, 12th is Nuno George, still recovering, with Shelton right behind him in 13th, and Osler now after his pit stop in 14th place. So we go back to the leaders, and it's Little John who's got the 1.1 second lead over Gareth Morris at the moment, but these two are on the hard tyres, and Dannington's coming in fast. Last time we looked, it was about 5.5 seconds. It's down to 3.8 seconds now, but again, he's on the quicker medium tyres. He's got a full tank of fuel as well, so the lead two, Little John and Morris, will be dumping them as quickly as they can. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Morris will do it after about 5-6 laps, and Little John maybe go out a little bit longer. He did last time, just to have slightly fresher tyres at the end of the race, but we shall see. But behind them is still Rasmus Omren and Darren Baldwin, still fighting in a very, very close battle for 4th and 5th place. 6th is still Moncali with Craig Thomas close behind, and Adam Dyke even closer behind. So we've got battles all the way down through the field as we go to Andy White, who's got himself up into 9th place now, Morgan in 10th, Stu Shelton up to 11th place now, Nuno George in 12th, 13th is Osler, and Collins now down into 14th place. I would hazard a guess at another pit stop, yes. So we go back to the leaders as they come around through Clark Curve. Morris in 2nd place. How's Morris's fuel looking? Because that will be an indication. Probably one more lap left for Morris, maybe 2, and that will be Morris sorted out for the hard tyre. It'll be half an hour stint on the mediums. That could be a bit of a push, so it might be 2 quick stints and 2 quick fueling stints as well for Morris as he comes into the pits. But it might, this is where it becomes a little bit tricky, because you're constantly having to think and change up your strategy idea. Like I say, we've got 31 minutes, 30 minutes by the time we come around to the line again, and Morris is on about an 1/8 of a tank, so you might have 2 more laps, so be looking at about 27 minutes by the time he manages to get round for the second time. 27 minutes left. It's a push, but it's doable on a tank of fuel. He might not even have to save the fuel, as just as I say that, the fuel indicator turns red, so he's got about 1.5 laps left, just about right for him, but we'll stick with him and we'll see if he decides to hit the pit lane now, or as he's got a bit of a tow from Little John, will he stay out and have one quick dig? He does decide to stay out, so it's going to be one more lap for Morris on those hard tyres before he pits. Little John 0.2 of a second to the good in the lead of the race, but certainly looking better on the fuel side of things. He's got 1/4 of a tank of fuel this time round. Obviously the wear rate's about the same on the tyres, but now Dannington has caught the guys up. Just 1.5 seconds behind Little John at the front of the pack, but he's on the medium tyres. Do not forget this, he's still got to run that harder tyre. Behind, Baldwin has got himself up ahead of Omran. We've missed that on the stream, but he's got himself ahead on the medium tyre, and he's slightly better off on fuel as well. This is playing out very well for Baldwin to go into 4th place of the championship at the moment, as Omran down into 5th with just over an 1/8 of a tank of fuel on board. 6th place is Adam Dyke with Andy White right behind him now. Andy's caught Dyke very, very quickly, and Andy will be pleased as punch to have got rid of those medium tyres so early on. sorry, the hard tyres so early on, and can put full pressure on Adam. Is Adam also on the medium tyres at the moment? I can't remember. He's also on the medium tyres, but they are a lot more worn as he's later on into the stint from Andy. As I said earlier, Morris is now in the pits. Let's just see how much fuel he decides to put into the tank as he goes to exit the pits. I would hazard a guess this is going to be somewhere near a full tank of fuel, because he'll try and push this to the end of the race. I was about a minute out in my calculations, 28 minutes, a full tank of fuel. I reckon he's going to push this to the end of the race. So it might need a little bit of fuel mixture to sort it out, but certainly going to the end of the race. Little John now probably about a lap and a half away, given where he is on the track. About a lap and a half away from pitting as well, getting rid of the hard tyres. But Dennington's still close behind now, just a second behind on those medium tyres. He's certainly trying a big undercut move here. And if he can get ahead of Little John, it'll be fantastic news for the championship, because it will allow him to close up on Little John in the championship race. Obviously Morris on the same points as Dennington as well. So it's anyone's guess as to who could be leaving Brands Hatch. Third place now is Darren Baldwin after Morris's pit stop. Omran up into fourth, and he's got a 10.5 second lead over Morris at the moment, who's come out in fifth. Andy White's got himself ahead of Adam Dyke now, up into sixth place. Dyke down into seventh. Morgan is now leading Thomas in 8th place. Thomas in 9th place at the moment, 0.3 of a second behind, and very, very tight between these two. Possibly you've got to have a look through Clark Curve onto the start finish straight. Can he get up the inside and have a look? No, he decides to hit the pits, and that will promote Stu Shelton up into 9th place for the time being. 10th, I was going to say will become Nuno George, but he decides to hit the pits as well. So further back we've got Osler in 12th, that will become 11th, 10th possibly, as he comes from the start finish straight. 13th is currently Collins, doing a fantastic job in his NASCAR styled livery Porsche number 88, and Moncani up into 13th as he just about sees Thomas rejoin the track just in front of him. Back to the leaders, and it's down to under half a second now between the two leaders as Little John comes across the line again, and this will be the last lap he does on those hard tyres. The fuel will be the giveaway there, as we can see. Next to no fuel. I wonder if he's actually got enough to get round. It might have to be a little bit of fuel mixture too, just to make sure he gets round. But this could, in as well, hold up Dennington in the battle for the lead. So this could play back into Morris's hand, as we see Omran in the pit lane now, getting rid of those medium tyres, and I can't remember if he's run the hards yet or not, but that'll be Omran's final stop of the evening. Little John and Dennington still battling away. Like I say, Little John will be into the pits this lap. Dennington looking a lot better on the fuel side, but he did put a full tank of fuel in, half a tank of fuel left as well. 25 minutes to go. He can do a smaller splash and dash onto the hard tyres, so it'll save him time. It will put him into the lead of the race, I would imagine, as it all plays out. But hard tyres against medium tyres, how far back is Morris currently? Time-wise to these two, 29.8 seconds. So it's costly, but we did see how much time Dennington lost. So we'll see what happens. We'll stick with Morris, because we can see Little John is in the pit lane now, completely out of fuel, and he'll be putting a full tank of fuel in roughly, I would imagine, as Morris comes down through clearways down towards Clark Curve, and Little John is still stationary in pit lane at the moment. Through Clark Curve now for Morris, down the start and finish straight as Little John now starts to come towards the exit of pit lane, and he's jumped Morris at the moment. But Morris will have that extra lap of warmth into the extra 2 laps of warmth in the tyres. He'll know the grip level already, but Little John does have the edge by just over a second at the moment. Dennington now inherits the lead of the race, 16 seconds ahead, or 16.5 seconds ahead of Darren Baldwin in second place, who's got an 11.5 second lead over Little John now, who will be going to the end of the race. Morris in fourth place, just a second further behind, and will be playing that long game. Although I say long game, it's getting shorter and shorter and shorter every second. We're down to just 23 minutes left. We have had, what have we had? 37 minutes already of the race, and it's still anyone's guess as to who is going to win. It's the same 3 contenders that we thought it might be. It's Dennington, it's Little John, it's Morris. Who wants to make a prediction now in the comments? Feel free. Who's going to do it? Who's going to win the race? Last week you said Darren, you're going to stick with that. Darren is currently in pit lane, getting rid of the medium tyres. You did go with Darren last time round. You're sticking with Darren? You're sticking with Darren. Kim's going to roll the dice. She's having the big gamble. It's the 100-to-1 outsider of Darren Baldwin. I say the 100-to-1 outsider. He's in fourth place, a net fourth place-ish. But he's got the hard tyres on now, so it's going to be the slower tyre like Dennington's going to have for the last stint of the race, and Baldwin will be doing everything he can. He's got about 3 seconds over Omran, who he's in the battle with for fourth place in the driver's standings. So we shall see. Omran is on the medium tyre, so this is going to be close for the battle for fourth in the championship as well. So Omran will certainly be closing it up on Baldwin as time goes on. Just a quick mention about 4th and 5th place. 4th place is Andy White, who I did say would play himself into this race that little bit as time went on. And sure enough, he's only 6.5 seconds behind Gareth Morris. He could possibly get to the end on that fuel, but it would need a little bit of fuel mixture playing with. I'm going to say he's going to be in the pits again before the end of the race. But he's played himself into this position superbly. Currently in 4th place, and in 5th place is Stu Shelton. Still cracking on brilliantly, and it's great to see Stu doing so well after the operation. He does have Darren Baldwin for close company, just 0.5 of a second behind, as behind Omran has closed in by over a second already in just this lap. 8th place is Adam Dyke, who's got a bit of a gap now to Craig Thomas, who is in 9th. 10th is now Collins, 11th Moncani, 12th is Osler. I always say Rooster. I've always called him Rooster. It's Osler, really. Morgan up to 13th, and George into 14th. That will become 13th as he comes across the start-finish line, because Collins is in the pits for the final time as well. Dennington already is opened up the gap at the front to 27 seconds. There's a yellow flag ahead of him. Who's gone off? Can we see who it was in front who had the off? See if we can catch out who it was. I think it was Morgan who had the off in front of Dennington. Was it Morgan, or was it might have been Moncani or George, one of the two possibly. It looked like a green coloured car, but it was so hard to see, it was in the distance. Dean Atkinson, hello all, how's it going? It's going well. It's hot, but it's going well. If you don't mind, that would be lovely if there's some wind, but there's not a lot of wind around. True, but we'll skip over that, and we'll go back to the race for the lead. Dennington has got a 27-second lead currently over Mark Littlejohn, but Littlejohn and Morris, who are separated by just over half a second now, have pitted, and I'm going to say are fueled to the end of the race. Dennington will still have to come in and fit those hard tyres for a minimum of 5 laps. So it'll be interesting to see how far Dennington can go. How's his fuel? As I say that, he's into the pits now, so he's going to have an 18-minute stint on the hard tyres. Minute stint on the hard tyres. That's going to be going so, but he can short fuel it. He can short fuel here, and that'll help him along the way. And as we can see, he comes out of the pit lane now, and he does have an advantage over Little John, who's only just coming across the start-finish line now. It's a... I'm gonna let it play out that little bit further, because the time split is a little bit iffier coming out the pits. Now we're starting to get a more accurate time. So it's about 6.5 seconds that Dennington has over Little John and Morris. But the hard tyre costs him 0.6 of a second a lap. That's right, Kim's just opening a flapjack behind me. That was all the wrestling. So yeah, it's going to cost Dennington about 0.6 of a second to a lap. 0.6 of a second to a second a lap, and with 17.5 minutes remaining, that's a fair bit. The two of them are going to catch him, and it's whether or not Dennington will be able to use the hard tyre wear rate that little bit better. You can see the gap's already under 6 seconds, so the gap's coming down already. Morris and Little John almost working together now, or Morris using it as a chance to save a bit of fuel over using the slipstream of Little John. Fourth place is Andy White still, 10.8 seconds further back, but like I said, I do think he's going to be into the pit lane before long. Baldwin up into 5th place, with Omron closing in very, very quickly down to 2.5 seconds now. So this battle's still not finished, with 16.5 minutes left. Andy White is now into the pits, so that'll be his last service of the evening. Shelton, having pitted into 7th place, and I say having pitted, it must have been a small mistake, because he's now into the pits as well for his final service of the night. Dyke now coming under more pressure as Thomas has rolled him back in for 8th and 9th place, which will become 7th and 8th as they come past Shelton, who's in pit lane. 10th place is Adam Morgan, who's recovered well after a few mistakes early on. George in 11th, again recovering well after his early off that we sadly missed. 11th place is Moncani, just about, because Stu Shelton comes out of the pit sideways almost through Paddock Hill Bend in 12th place, but 10th, 11th, 12th, very, very close, and we'll call it the green battle, because the BP colours of Shelton there, the blue and green of Moncani, and the green and white of the VLR Nuno George. We will go back to the front, and the chasing of Dennington at the head of the field is down to just under 5 seconds now, as Little John opens up a slight gap now to Morris in 3rd place, up to almost 1.5 seconds. So is Morris playing an even longer game? Who knows? Only time will tell. But Baldwin now up into 4th place, and 2.2 seconds ahead of Omron at the moment, and that's a good job there from Baldwin on the hard tyres over the medium of Omron's, who's got a 8.7 second lead, but that is reducing to Andy White in 6th place. Do not count Andy White out yet for a 4th place finish here. I know Andy has got some decent speed under him. He'll be on the medium tyres, fuel to the end of the race, 14 minutes to go. Anything is possible here for Andy, and I reckon he's played a blinder here, and I'm going to go out and say that he will finish this race in 4th place. commentator's curse probably, and if it is, I do apologise, Andy, profusely, but I reckon you'll finish this race in 4th place. 7th place is Adam Dyke, who has got Thomas still up behind him, just 0.8 of a second further back, and Morgan in 9th place now, with Moncani up into 10th place and got himself ahead of Nuno George, who has dropped down to 11th place. 12th is Stu Shelton still, and he's all out now to the end of the race. 13th is Collins, again getting on round, and only 5 seconds back from Stu Shelton, so he might be closing up before too long. And then Osler, who is in 14th now. Back to Dennington at the front, who's got a 4.5 second lead. So it's coming down. It might not be coming down as quickly as they hoped. Maybe the tyres are just starting to wear that little bit. They are slightly on the 2 chasers in Littlejohn and Morgan, but the wear rate is just starting to show through as well on those hard tyres of Dennington's. So very, very tricky, but 4.5 seconds, 13 minutes remaining. What are we? We're 1.5 minutes a lap. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. Any small mistake from Dennington and he's going to be right in the clutches of the likes of Littlejohn and Morris. So anyone's guess as to who will finish first and what order the podium will be. Again, if you want to take a guess, feel free, put it in the comments, have a guess as to who's going to finish where. Game Race, Ismail Nemri, hello, welcome. We hope to see you back soon, back racing within some series somewhere within ESR. I know work and life has been all over the place. It happens, unfortunately, sometimes, but hopefully we'll see you back with us soon and racing hard as you always did. You never know, we might see you in the Porsches or whatever it may be come next season in time, but we shall no doubt see. I'll be there. I hope so, mate. I hope so. Keep your eyes peeled because we have a new league being launched. I was hoping to launch it today, but I just ran out of time, unfortunately. But it will be launched tomorrow. I can tell you all now while I'm on stream as well, as we have a look at Dennington with a 4-second lead now. The name of the new series is MCCC, which is Multi-Car Choice Championship, and it sponsored by Hopper's Motorsport Vlogs. And it does what it says on the tin. It is a multi-car choice championship. More details will obviously come out soon. If you are interested, check out the Facebook page, check out the website tomorrow. I would say check it out from about 6 o'clock tomorrow, and details will be out very, very soon for the new championship. And it's a championship organised, designed by Kim, who openly admits she's got no idea as to what motor racing is all about, why people love it, anything like that. She just doesn't get it. She won't sit down and watch the Formula 1 with me.
No choice. You have it on all.
She does have no choice, but she won't sit down and watch it. Yeah, that's coming out soon. So if you are interested, give it a look and get yourself signed up as soon as possible. Like I say, we've got Dennington back to the Porsche RSR league. We've got Dennington, who is holding about a 4-second lead over Littlejohn. So this isn't playing out for Littlejohn or Morris at all. Morris actually dropping further back to Littlejohn, now out to 2.8 seconds. So it's almost looking like we've got our podium almost set, even with 10 minutes left to go. I say that, anyone could make a mistake. In 4th place currently is Darren Baldwin, who's opened up the gap to 3 seconds to Rasmus Omren in 5th place, who's got a 6-second lead over Andy White in 6th place. 7th now is Craig Thomas, who's got himself ahead of the 8th place Adam Dyke. He's still got a 9-second lead over Adam Morgan, who he's got 9 seconds ahead, 9 seconds behind, and behind Morgan is Nuno George in 10th place now. but he has got the fast charging Stu Shelton with his extra bracket in his shoulder. In 11th place, he's got 2.5 second lead over Marshall, who seems to have 12th place almost. I spoke just too soon for him as he loses it coming out of Sheen's curve, spins round. He did have a 15-second lead, and it looked like 12th place certainly wrapped up, but that gap will now come down to Brian Moncani, who is currently in 13th place. It's down to 7.5 seconds now, and Marshall Collins hits the pits to repair the damage caused from that spin. 13th up to 12th now will be Moncani, as Oster will come across the start-finish line and up into 14th place, with Collins currently in the pits in 14th, as we just see him rejoining in the background there as well. So it could be an all-out attack now on Osler for 13th place. Back to the front, and Dennington's actually stretched the lead out slightly to 4.3 seconds. It is Dennington's race to lose now. Just keep it on the black stuff, keep it facing the right way, and you should take the checkered flag. And 5th place, Omran decides to pit late in the day, decides to come in, put a brand new set of medium tyres, a quick splash and dash of fuel, and that's put Andy White up into 5th place, just 8.2 seconds behind Baldwin now, and on the quicker tyres. So my prediction was earlier Andy would finish 4th, 8 seconds, 7.5 minutes. You've got to go some now, son. A second a minute you need to catch Darren to get my prediction right. And who knows, it could be doable. The difference in tyres. How are we looking tyre wear wise? Let's have a quick look. Andy not doing too bad, half a tank of fuel as well. Darren a lot better on the tyre wear front, and less fuel, which will certainly help him maintain that distance, I think, as the race comes towards its closing stages, under 7 minutes now. And I said earlier that it was Dennington's race to lose. The gap has already come down by half a second. It's down to 3.8 seconds. So this race isn't over yet. Little John has got other things to say about it, but he is certainly dropping Morris, who is now down to 4.5 seconds behind Little John. So Morris probably now just wondering, 3rd place is going to be enough here. It doesn't put him out of the championship contention, but certainly a third place finish will do him nicely right now, as he goes out to 5 seconds behind. Possibly fuel being an issue, maybe. Yeah, I would say fuel could be the issue as to Morris dropping a little bit further back. He does tend to cut it a little bit fine. We saw that at Sandy Crow, where he was pushing for the lead, but openly admitted after the race that fuel would have been tight across the line, even if he had got in front of Little John. Little John now as well, possibly. He's okay on the fuel, but he just can't do anything about the 4.5 second gap now to Dennington, who has played this brilliantly. Dennington has served the minimum requirement on the hard tyre now. He's got 5.5 minutes to go. He's kept, even though when he came out he had a 6-second lead, it came down by about 3 seconds, but he's maintained that gap now around the 4-second mark to Little John, and that's all he's got to do now. He's just got to match the pace on the hard tyres, and victory will be his here at Brands Hatch tonight. 4th place is still Darren Baldwin, but that gap is down to 6.2 seconds. It's not quite coming down quick enough, Andy, but it could be touch and go, and who knows, a slight mistake by Baldwin or something like that, and you could be on that rear bumper on the final lap of the race. As I say, Andy White is in 2nd place, 6 seconds behind Darren Baldwin. Behind him, just 8.3 seconds further back, is Omran, who's got the new tyres on because he did decide to pit late. 7th place is Adam Dykes. who's got himself a nice gap now over Craig Thomas, who had a quick late pit stop as well, I noticed. 8.6 seconds behind Adam Dykes is Craig Thomas, who's got a 6-second lead over Adam Morgan in the Snickers Hazelnut liveried Porsche. 10th place is Stu Shelton, doing fantastically well, but close company is Nuno George just behind, as they're going to shoot over us as the camera curb gets another kicking by Nuno George. But these two battling away for 10th place. 13th is Brian Moncani. 12th is Brian Moncani. 13th is currently Andrew Osler, with Collins close behind as well in 14th. It looks like they're just about to be put a lap down by Gareth Morris. So Morris certainly deciding that third place is enough, and he's going to eke that fuel out. He's now dropped off the back of Little John by 13 seconds. Is Morris actually going to get to the end of the race on the fuel? I think he is just about now. He's probably just about saved enough fuel to go to mixture 1 and get to the end of this race. But certainly fuel has been a major issue now for Morris. With just under 3 minutes to go, Morris has even dropped back further from Osler and Collins. He's trying to save that much fuel just purely to get to the end of this race. I'm going to say 2 laps to go for Morris, certainly. We did see some yellow flags very quickly there when we were with Morris. I don't know who's gone off or what's happened ahead, but we missed that one, unfortunately. Dennington coming down Cooper Straight and down towards Surtees, and we'll just go on board with Dennington quickly, as we'll have a flying lap with him, and we'll have the telemetry on board as well, as we come down to Hawthorns now, flicking right through Hawthorns, out wide onto the curb, making sure you don't touch the grass because it will spin the car, launching through Westfield and down into Dingledale. It drops down away for Dingledale, and then up again for Sheen Curve, then flicking it over to the right hand side for the left corner of Stirling, down through Clearways, the sun setting beautifully behind the trees, not causing too much of an issue for the driver's eye, into Clark Curve now, and this could, depending on what Mark decides to do, what Lee decides to do, this could be the penultimate lap. This could end up very, very tight. I'm going to come back off of the onboard, because Dennington's going to have to slow down just to make it across the line with the correct fuel. Little John has got enough. If Dennington goes across too soon, there will be another lap and he will run out of fuel. I think Little John's too far back to get the extra laps. Dennington might be alright. He's got nearly a 6-second lead, but he'll be able to just ease off that little bit and make sure he gets to the end of this race and make sure that this is the last lap. Otherwise his fuel's going to run out. Baldwin's got a safe 4th place, as Andy White's dropped to 6.6 seconds behind, as we flick through, and looks like Dykes lost out to Thomas there somewhere along the lines, and he's now under pressure from Morgan as they come down Clearways, and it'll be the penultimate time for those two as well. Let's go back to them as Dyke and Morgan battle it out through Clark Curve. Morgan's now got the inside line, lovely switchback move there, down the start and finish straight. The penultimate lap goes into the books as they cross the line with about 10 seconds left. That's Morgan up into 8th place now, Dyke down into 9th, Shelton still in 10th place. We go back to the leaders, and it's going to be one last lap for Dennington, as Little John has crossed the line and finished. So Dennington is going to have to finish the race, and he's got hardly any fuel, so he will probably run out. But with Little John already crossing the line, that will be Dennington's victory. Little John in 2nd, Morris comes across the line in 3rd place. 4th, and just 10.8 seconds behind Morris, is Darren Baldwin, who will take 4th place a weave and a lot of joy there. 4th place for Baldwin. 5th place will be Andy White. A fantastic strategy race there from Andy. And 5th place, he will be more than happy with that, I'm sure. Omran comes across the line now in 6th place. Moves towards the wall. And I would say quite happy with 6th place. 7th place will be Craig Thomas as he comes round the Clark Curve, comes to the exit, and 7th place in the bag. Morgan up into 8th with that wonderful last move into Paddock Hill, getting the move done nice and early, a lap ago, and crossing the line just about in enough time. And 8th place, 9th for Adam Dyke, 10th for Shelton, 11th Moncani, 12th will be George, 13th will be Osler, 14th will be Marshall. Dennington takes the victory. Dennington takes the victory and closes up the gap at the top of the standings. I don't know if it will be enough just to take victory, take the lead of the series, but time will tell. Time will tell. We'll quickly save the replay and we will have a good look at the final standings. Like I say, Dennington actually got an extra lap over everyone else, just about squeezing the fuel to the end of the race. Second place was Little John with a 21-second lead in the end over Morris, who really struggled on the fuel side and had to save every little drop that he possibly could. 4th place was Darren Baldwin, 5th place was Andy White, 6th place Rasmus Omran, 7th place Craig Thomas, who led home Adam Morgan in 8th place, 9th was Adam Dykes, 10th Stu Shelton, 11th Brian Moncani, 12th Nuno George, 13th Andrew Oster, 14th was Brucey Collins, and unfortunately not finishing tonight was William Lane. That has been round number 4 of the ESR Porsche 911 RSR series. I hope you've enjoyed it. I cannot wait for next week, which I'm being informed from behind me is the Kyoto Driving Park, and I'm going to attempt it. Kyoto Driving Park, Yanguina and Miyabi. I hope I've pronounced it right, and we're going to go backwards. We're not content with going around the right way. We're going to go backwards, just to mix it up that little bit. So we'll hopefully have some good fun there. I don't know if it will be live streamed. It all depends as to whether or not I'm working. I'm trying to rack my brains. I believe I do have a rest day from work, so I will be live streaming again, and you'll have to hear my wonderful dulcet tones throughout the evening, bringing you all the action from round number 5 next week from Kyoto, Japan. I hope you've enjoyed it all, guys. I'm sorry if I've missed any comments or things like that within the chat. I hope you've enjoyed it. I certainly have, and we cannot wait for next week at Kyoto. For now, I've been Nick Sargent, hosting and bringing you the ESR Porsche 911 RSR series. For now, good night, thank you, and see you soon.